Hello, people. I want to play this. I cannot download this, so I got to do it this way. Okay. It's going to come in not nearly as good as it should, but I want you to watch this.
So a guy named Tom called to tell me he said hello. You think I'm worried about him? Yeah, he's fucking stalking me like a cunt, like a broken girl.
Okay, let me explain this video. It's over, right? Let me explain that video to you. So Tony, being the gangster that he is, he went to a diner, and he was at this diner, and he was sitting, and he went out inside, and he came out, and he started the show, but he was sitting underneath the name of the diner where it was. It was right above his head. So that tells you what kind of gangster Tony is. You know, I went through a period of my life wanted, and I was always very careful. And the fact that he sat underneath a sign that says where he was is funny. And Tom called him. Tom called the guy inside. The guy came outside and said, Tom's on the phone. He says, hi. So I just thought that was funny as shit. But anyway, we're going to do a little thing today. This is about Tony. Tony kind of did apologies last night after he doxed me and put my number out. I knew that was going to eventually come. I was wondering when. But when we were doing the show last night, he decided to do that. And then he apologized and said that, you know, you can't apologize for that, Tony. That you did two things to me here that are very serious. One, you attacked my brother. And his middle daughter seen it. And she was very upset by it. So, you know, you don't get a free pass with me no more, Tony. I thought I seen something good in you and that we would get along, and you just always started talking about me, and you just can't control yourself. You have no loyalty to nobody. You have taken hundreds of wrenches, literally, people that give you money, all sorts of money, and you turn on them. You know, when you're talking about, and lots of them. Remember Romney? I mean, he was one of your first people ever. And you threw him out of your room one night. And this is after he helped you and gave you money and stuff. And you did that to many other people that helped you. A matter of fact, one person wrote me and started getting on my case. And he was defending you and he was attacking me. And I said to him, it's only a matter of time before Tony turns on you. And then you did. A couple of days later, you turned on him. You kicked him out of the room, and he came over and apologized to me. And now he's in my room. I'm sorry, on my page. He's subscribed to my channel. So this is who you are, Tony. So I'm going to present to people who you are. And you basically brought this on yourself, Tony. You can't do these things and get away with it. And lately, in the last couple of days, you've been kind of talking about, well, you know, I'm going to leave FBS alone and stuff. Of course, you're going to leave FBS alone because you're hoping that FBS, he kind of said it last night. So, you know, maybe you guys can team up, make a good team. So let's get on with who you are. Okay, so first thing I did is I wrote Sammy Gravano an email, and I got an answer from Sammy's support team, and then let me just read this to you. Okay, so we'll add this to the stream here, and I wrote to Sammy Gravano. I would like to address to me from Sammy I would like a letter addressed to me from Sammy that states Tony was never with Sammy and Sammy does not know him. I would use this letter to put this to rest. I will also agree not to do any more shows about Sammy. I have done enough and made my point. My goal now is to prove that Tony is pulling off one of the greatest internet scams ever. A direct letter from Sammy would solidify my evidence. Tony trashed my brother Tom Cole's death and needs to be taken seriously. My brother was a father of three girls, and they were devastated by Tony's words about their father. This would prove to me that Sammy is actually has a good side, and it would greatly be appreciated. Thank you, Lee Cole. Okay, and then he writes this back right here. If you feel this way about Tony, why don't you do the same thing Sammy has done? Stop communicating with him. You are giving him an additional platform to spew false information. I think it's blasphemous that he would speak ill of your brother after you apparently tried to be nice to him. Cut those ties and report his post if you believe them to be false or inappropriate. And that's what I did, by the way, last night after he doxed me. And Tony, that's one of the reasons you're having trouble today reading your chat room. They're basically getting ready to shut you down. You've gone too far this time. And after last night, you had so many people flag your channel. You can't do what you're doing, Tony. Sammy was already created a statement to share. And this is what they wrote to me. So I don't know that he would be willing to write you a whole letter to you about it, but I am including the statement below. We hope this is sufficient for you. This is what he wrote to the paper article. I have never met him in person. He originally contacted me on Facebook Messenger. I felt bad for him. I befriended him briefly. He became a nuisance, and I haven't talked to or responded to him in quite a while. I have no intentions to, and wish he'd stop using my name, Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano. And so I just wanted you to see that and to understand that once he did that thing with my brother, Tony and I was through. It was never going to be okay again. Tony is a vicious man. He's vicious and vile, and he's just a horrible human being. I mean, we have horrible human beings on this, but Tony is the worst of them. Tony has no filter, no empathy. He's just not a nice man. And he will turn on anybody. I mean, it's amazing. Well, we'll put that to the side. And I want to read you something else. And this has been out there already, but I'm going to share it. And let's see. Okay. This is an arrest record. This is the one thing that we could find on Tony from 2006, and it was December 12th. And this is what's very weird about Tony. And this doesn't make any sense. Okay. He pled guilty and got a misdemeanor. And this is why it's weird. Initial charges: possession of stolen firearm, a rind, possession of stolen goods, prop, possession of stolen goods, and a prop. Stolen goods was available. So he pled guilty and he got charged with a misdemeanor, which is very weird for theft of a car and gun, especially stealing a gun. I can't understand a misdemeanor charge for stealing a gun. And here's what makes it even stranger. He did the trial by judge. And usually that happens when they don't want a jury or anything. Basically, they want the judge to do the trial. And if there was a trial, it's not like they even made a deal. The judge basically sat there and gave him a sentence. And no court costs, not available fine. The court was in Alamance, and basically sucks. And you got to remember, when you read this too, he has a different name. He's Tony. But here's what makes it even weirder now. Okay, so let's get rid of that arrest record. And then we'll read the good stuff now. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Tony. Sean Christie McCarthy, aka Tony Pizza Corona, is a lying sack of shit. This was written to me. He's given a phony story about being adopted and his father that raised him was his stepfather and not his real father. He has mentioned that he was involved with a hit team to whack Sammy Gravano back in the 1990s. After he did that, after Sammy did the Diane Sawyer interview, Tony said that he was using the alias Anthony Massioni. Okay, which we'll just keep on, which is another bullshit story. He's never cut up money in the back room of Tally's, which was Sammy's bar. He's never went to school with Paul Castellano's son, Joseph. Let me tell you how we know this. Philip and Paul Jr. are both from Brooklyn, Staten Island, and these guys were to be in their 70s. Tony went to school in Long Island, and Tony's 20 years younger than Paul Jr. and Philip. Tony went to West Babylon High School. And he was into breakdancing, heavy metal. He was a part of a breakdancing crew, and he played the guitar. He's also claimed that he had met John Gotti Sr. through Tony Pep back in the day, which is also BS. So basically, we know that he was Christie McCarthy, Sean Christie McCarthy. We know that his name was changed. We know in 2007, he got charged with a gun charge, and it got dropped to a misdemeanor, which is, and plus in the South, that doesn't make any sense at all. Then he goes to judge by trial, which doesn't, it's kind of unusual because it was a trial. It wasn't even a plea bargain. So the judge basically decided what the sentence was going to be. And then he disappeared. And then he claims he got out of jail in 2011, the same time that Tony Pep was coming in. I asked him that the other day. Tony Pep, he never knew Tony Pep. Another lie. He didn't know any of these people. Tony has pulled one of the best hustles. You got to give him his credit, because there are a lot of you fools who've been hustled that believed everything he said, and you gave him a massive amount of money. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars. Easy. Has anybody wondered where that money's gone? I mean, just think about it. How do you get rid of that much money so fast? It's got to be going somewhere. It's not like he's buying clothes. This was before he bought his car. And then he said he wanted the camper, and then he got money for the camper, and then that camper was sold. So he has more money. And people just keep giving to him. And listen, if people want to give to him, it's up to them. That's what it comes down to. Nobody can stop anybody from giving anybody any money. But this guy has scammed you. He's not. Now, if you're paying him to go after FBS or go after anybody, that even makes you more stupid. That makes you stupider. For the simple fact, go after him yourself. You're paying Tony to do it. Okay, so, think about that. So what do his channel is going to be shut down shortly. There's no doubt about that. And then his cash cow is going to be dried up. But today, after our show yesterday, he has 130, 140 people watching him. I mean, is he? And then he tried to go into his chat room this morning, and he says, I can't see nobody. I can't get in there. He basically sees wrenches. This is what they're doing. The wrench is under investigation. He's under investigation. Because you can't do what you've been doing. You can't threaten people's lives online. It's going to come back and haunt you. And this is what's happening. So I cannot tell you how much longer Tony's going to be around. He might fool us all and be here in another 6 months, or he could disappear tomorrow. But he can't do what he's been doing. This has to come to an end somewhere. You know, it's like on one side you got Tony, and then you got FBS on the other side. They have no filter whatsoever. They will do whatever they have to do to get back at somebody, to get even at with somebody. They don't care. Anything. And that's one of the main reasons we did the show last night, to discuss it and talk about it. The show was very successful. It's pushing 4,000. Last night we had over 5,000 people write chats. 5,000 into the chat room. That's unbelievable. So, you know, it's for that I like to thank you. And we got up as high as 320 last night, and it stayed consistently anywhere from 290 to above 300, which, you know, New Year's Eve, it really surprised me. I didn't know what to expect. And I would like to thank you people for that last night, and thank the people that came on to this show last night. I'd also like to wish everybody a happy New Year's. And maybe the fighting will stop. I hope so. But I just wanted to introduce you to Tony, because people who gave him money, go look in the mirror and say, I was hustled. You know, it's kind of funny. Tony would stand on the street begging for money, but then he discovered this YouTube and he found an easier way. It's hard to beg for money on the street. Here, you know, all you got to do is come up with some kind of story. Feel sorry for me. Give me money. And a lot of people did it. So much money. It's amazing. Got to give you this, Tony. You're one hell of a scammer. People, that's it. Please like and subscribe. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We're heading toward 2,800 now. We're 2,700 and pushing. Thank you very much. Let's get those numbers up. Let's get to 3,000. We're almost there.